green light, green light. Show them what you got.
Alright, and we should be in now, I think. Hopefully. I don't know. Game is really weird and it just decided to crash my game for me. So here we are. Let's get to
Very rainy
watching
session.
the race. And Dom, we're just really excited because it's raining here in qualifying, which means it'll be dry in the race. Don't worry. It'll be dry by race time.
Dang it. I really don't want it to. I intentionally designed this to be a wet race.
We've got two takers already, Andrew Shaw in the 22, Roy the engineering Lamborghini, and Remo Perez in the 97 Aston Martin, the first two that have left the pit lane.
See, the problem is
I'm not going to get any less
speaking of the pit lane. It will get less wet in 10 minutes. Less wet? Less wet in 10 minutes. But I don't think that'll be enough to do anything.
It'll be like... No,
well, and it won't matter anyways if cars aren't on the racetrack. Also, too, just because of the fact it rains less doesn't mean that more water hasn't built up on the racetrack. So I think that right now the best thing you can do is get out there as quick as possible. Try to be the first one to set a lap, and then possibly try to also be the last one to set a lap. So be first and last. I think that's your best shot.
And we're only 13 or 12 minus Ethan.
But also, everyone has different ideas for what race. Hello, by the way, anyone who's in the Twitch chat. I'm not really sure who all is here. We'll try and make Charlie Gaming. You were in here earlier. Welcome.
I can't remember what Aries said, but they changed something. Oh, is Chris a little slidey there coming out of whatever turn that is at the top of the hill? Aries said they did something with the rain physics, how it affects the wet racing line, the rubber band line. How, like, I'm trying to remember what it was.
I find it does nothing.
Well, because they basically changed it where the rubber band line actually is going to get like. He said something weird where instead of being like 5 laps, it's gonna be like 15 laps. It's gonna be like weird and slippery and don't want to drive on it initially.
I mean, I would be happy to see it actually properly be implemented with, like realistic-ish wet weather conditions, but there's not a single game that's out there where it's faster to try to avoid the rubbered in line. I mean, just in every game right now with that has weather, it's still you just take the racing line. It's always the fastest no matter what, unless if there's a giant puddle on the apex of a corner,
and
obviously.
Project Cars 2, where every apex is a puddle.
Well, I mean, in this game as well, for example, going through like Blanchimont, you can get a puddle that appears there. Ooh, is Ramiro up front there, almost wrecks it. Speaking of it,
I think that makes sense though. I think that's like an actual part where it's like.
Well, I mean, no, it doesn't really make sense because that's all uphill. That whole section is uphill. So why does water form at the top of the hill? Like, if anything, it would make sense for it to form up down through the right-hander prior to the straightaway. Because that's the bottom of the hill.
Going to Blanchimont.
Or like have just have water down like in like the merger of sector 2, sector 3 through those through the S's and the 90-degree corners there. I think that's where it makes the most sense to have water really build up because I mean that's the low point.
That second line to right. That's where it should be, sort of in that area, congregated.
I may be mean wanting to have the rain happen, but I want to watch people struggle in the rain.
Monza's gonna be a night race, right?
Yes.
So that's gonna be fun.
This was supposed to be like a sunrise race, because like I wanted to have it like a little bit darker, but there isn't a good time because you have to set it on the hour.
Yeah, so, unfortunately, I hope that they can fix that eventually, where you can kind of get a little bit more freedom in your start time.
Yeah, because I would like to start at like, I think it would have been like 4:30, 5:30 in sim.
I mean, definitely at least give us options to start at the 30. But I mean, it'd be cool to see like like in real life you'll see qualifying times that start at like 7:37 a.m. or whatever.
Yeah,
like
that, isn't it?
Yeah, like I know iRacing you can do that. You can like so you have this everything's considered on the same day, which is kind of annoying with iRacing. But you can at least like stagger it where
And I
like
just got
one can
disconnected
start.
again.
Oh my gosh.
What is wrong with my game and my PC today? To be fair, my internet's been acting up a lot recently. I'm not exactly sure as to why. Like last night, I had my internet. It just randomly decided to just drop to 10 megabytes per second last night. Like, and it was cutting out. I couldn't even load a website. Hopefully the stream looks fine. I mean, it looks fine on my end, looking at the stream.
Green light. Go, go, go.
Here we go.
I really love the white numbers. I don't know what it is, but the white numbers they use look good for the AM cars.
Oh, yeah.
As
Romero.
Romero
That's just like
validates
the-
his lap there.
He's shaky people. I just like the white wheels on.
Oh, the white
Whereas-
wheels. Oh, you and Derek are in the same boat, I see. Team white wheels.
There's a time and place for the white wheels. It works there. It doesn't always work on every car, but it works. It works on Aston. I like it.
I think Derek disagrees with you on that statement. Is Keith taking? Oh, as Andrews, everyone's dying at Blanchimont. It seems we had the Reuter around there. Steve John, the first one on a valid lap now instead of fast lap, or a clean lap at that matter. Looks like Woody there spins it, going down the Camel Straight. Speaking of weird spins, I don't know if you guys watched the clip of it was like the SRO America. I think it was like 12 or 6 hours of spa that they did last weekend.
John, what's the thing? Austin Powers. That's it.
Oh, Austin Power, how? Like
Yeah.
Austin Powers like, I wouldn't say it was far, but it was like, how'd you manage to Austin Powers it there, entering the pit lane? Like,
Yeah, I mean, it's not even like there's like a bump or anything on the side.
no.
Round here.
John sets the fast lap with a 230.
Possibly spinning the wheels. Appears there's someone waiting on the exit of the pit road there.
You
I
don't.
think that was the McCord Audi.
For whatever reason, I don't have any middle sector times. So that's the same for you guys.
I don't either. Yeah.
Good.
Middle sector doesn't exist.
Go on.
All the cars for the 90s currently set laps. 96, the 94, and the 98.
Chris is about to come across the line in 99. Goes third.
There goes 99.
With more 99s.
Where's Ramiro in his valid lap? Oh, it looks like he's exiting the pit lane actually. No, he's going to the Camel Straight.
Unfortunately, it's going to be the 24 of Keith Hurst who's next across the line. That'll pop to the final sector, so that'll break our 9 related trend.
Potentially. He has to cross the line first.
No, this is true.
No. Well, thinking about late lap actually.
Alright, Sam went up. There's a 9 in there. We'll take that.
It's close enough. The track is now damp, so that means it was wet. So that means it is slightly drier than it was, but not dry enough to really make a difference, to be honest, in my opinion.
Theoretically drier, but whether that actually does anything or not is another question.
Exactly. I wanted to test something. Yeah, test it sometime. And it requires multiple people. Oh, is Shaw and John are racing for some reason? In qualifying. Oh, but they've touched.
Salmon goes up to P2, just 7 tenths off the leading Bentley right now. They've got 10 kilo success ballast weight.
I would consider success ballast, but it's ballast.
Just ballast.
Is the Bentleys are showing off their pace, it looks like.
Well, I was about to say, I think that Bentley might have a bit of an advantage here in the wet due to just the fact of it's bigger. It has more body to push itself in the ground, so it's going to kind of create more natural downforce in these type of conditions. And so also having the front engine helps to have weight on the front tires. So I would suspect that in these wet conditions like this, the Bentley would have good speed, especially compared to anything else on the grid here.
Is the Boatley. So.
in its natural habitat as
the Porsche
Mike
goes up to
Traricki.
P2.
Mm.
Mike Traricki.
Yeah, the one thing I needed to test is multiple qualifying sessions and seeing how they work in terms of placing drivers. Where, is Derek almost goes for a spin there, Blanchimont. Saves it though. Is if you do GT3s in one qualifying session, GT4s in another, would it make a difference in terms of
Would it actually register that, or like,
Yeah.
I don't think that
Based
you can
on-
have 2 qualifying sessions prior to the race session.
I think you can.
'Cause
I
I think
haven't
I think that was
tested
an issue that we had with our server, like after that one update, was that it was trying to
No, that was
register
just
us.
that was just the server corrupt in general.
Hmm.
That was the issue
I
there.
mean, it's definitely it's worth a test, see if it works.
Where it's like more than just me. If I could add AI, I would add AI and see what it would do. Yeah. Because I want to know if it'd be based on lap time, who qualified where, or how they do it.
Sure.
Because then it would be, we have to tell you to sit in the pit lane until this time, and then this, that, and the other, which is like, okay. Keith moves up to P5 now, so his first lap, I think. I think that was his first lap. Everyone's slowly finding their footing here after a little bit after the track is dried.
I think it's relatively close as well.
Into the pit lane goes the Foucher Bentley.
Surprised about that. Only 3 minutes left in quali.
Yeah, very quick session.
Yeah, Jake won't be going out again.
I think you can get him.
Nah.
No, yeah, true.
it's a
The pit
double
lane.
pit lane.
Yeah, pit lanes.
Yeah. Hope he knows what he's doing and doesn't just got confused over times.
I don't think Derek will be able to. Well, Derek might be able to get the time. But
I
Ryan
realized
goes
that
into
whenever I
first
entered
lap.
the title updates, it never saved, so it's still streaming as
still the
15
4 hours
Monza.
Monza. Ryan goes P6. Oh, and
Wow.
he's ending his session there. Actually, he's not going for another lap either.
Interesting.
Camaro goes up to P8.
Yeah, interesting by Ryan there. A lot of people in pits now, 4th, 5th, and 6th, were electing not to go out anymore.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the reason behind that is. One thing I do wish they would, like, it's not that big of an issue because it's not changing the time around you're spinning in the pit lane. You're still spinning the same time in the pit lane, but like, have people's boxes start from the front and then go back. Because your server spot's just based on when you join anyways, so it doesn't matter. Like, instead of using the back part of the pit lane, they should use the front part of the pit lane.
True.
Like, like, just move it, like, remove like three of the first spots so people actually still sit on the limiter and aren't able to jump the gun, kind of thing. Because that's kind of the issue with, if you don't have the first spot, is you have to spend more time on the limiter technically. But if you remove that, then everyone's spinning the same time.
Just looking at Derek's car here. Again. Oh, was he invalidated somehow? Yeah,
Well, a track like Spa, that isn't an issue due to the fact that it has a 2-minute long pit lane, so...
Well, yeah. I just wish they'd use the front spots instead of the rear ones. Because it's the endurance pit lane after all. You're supposed to use both. The thing.
Definitely, I mean, they're supposed to use both for the multi-class, so, like, you know, you have one class on one side and the other class on the other, but... yeah, they don't do a good job with that in this game in terms of staggering out the 2 different classes. They don't even do a good job with it at the starts either. I'd like to be able to see an option for more spacing between the 2 grids for the starts of races, because with GT4 and GT3 cars, you had the GT3s and the GT4s lining up, you know, bumper to bumper or side by side even at times, depending on how many GT3s you have, and so it's definitely an awkward thing. Hello there, Tuning Bacon. Welcome to the stream. But yeah, it's
Derek.
definitely it's an awkward predicament there for the start of every race whenever they set it up like that.
Especially even if a GT3 doesn't qualify. At least they could start the back of the GT3s, not the back, so they have to.
Yeah. For one thing, I know you can do is set a free. I guess it's called free. Essentially, it's basically like Project Cars 2, how we would start from a standing start, and then it'd be based on first. They'd set a specific speed, but again, that's all limiting and controlling people's. The issue with that is John goes even faster. 2 seconds.
2:30. Very impressive.
Yeah, he's had a really good lap there. Also, it appears the rain never actually slowed down. It never really, it never seemed to switch over to the rain slowing down there. So definitely was not any difference in that case. The track is only at a 20% wet state right now, though, so it's definitely still fast. Moore jumps up to P8 there.
See if Mr. Shaw.
Andrew Shaw, the Ryder Engineering Lamborghini, spinning up out of the final corner, jumps up to P8 himself.
Ryan on the lap, so disregard
Fourth time of Ryan Woodrow.
On an invalidated lap, so he won't move. Sam and Sald up next. P3 currently. Highest place Lamborghini.
Oh,
Jumps up to P2 for the Lamborghini.
the last car on the lap here is Mike.
The 98's not on a valid lap?
Nope.
Nope, you were right.
Slightly missing that.
Here comes Mike Trewicki here, up out of the final corner. A little bit sloppy there. Not quite sure if it's going to get enough run. It remains at P3.
So yeah.
Did appear to go faster that time around, but remains in P3.
So now we wait.
Alright. And garage. The other thing too is that if you are a spectator, you shouldn't have to return to garage. Whenever you go in between the sessions, that would be a fantastic little thing that they could add.
It's raining again. Yes.
Wait a minute. Okay, alright, they're doing a full lap.
Yeah, they always do a full lap.
Okay. I was just kind of confused for a second as to why they were lining up on that side, not the other side. I'm just for whatever reason I'm used to Spa. They line up like I think they'd line up on the other side.
Point in like trying to warm anything up. It's one, a wet track. Two, it's a massive lap. Thoughts on Mercedes GT3? What about it? I'm a little confused. I haven't driven it personally, so I cannot give you my opinion on that.
I mean, it's a fine car. It's widely considered by most as their favorite. In most games in general, whether it be in iRacing, this game, Project Cars, or anything that does feature a GT3 car, Mercedes is always kind of a car that people gravitate towards and like. So I definitely say that it's probably one of the better GT3 cars just overall. It's because it's commonly a car that is at the fastest of its class, and it's a car that everyone commonly likes.
It's pretty easy to drive, to be honest.
Yeah,
it's not like the Ford or the Lambo, which are just tail happy.
Yeah, if let me list the cars from iRacing. You have the Audi, the Merc, the Ferrari, the old Ford GT3. Don't know why that exists.
Because it was a GT2. It wasn't even a GT3.
Yeah, the MP4-12, and then the Z4. Out of all those cars, the only competition that really can bring anything in terms of just good to drive would be the Z4. Because the MP4 just drives crazy. The Audi's the Audi. It's a mid-engine car. Same with the Ferrari. I don't know what it is with the Audi in general. There's just something off with the Audi. Ferrari you can get away with doing most driving fine. But yeah.
That's what it is for you.
Yeah, but yeah, the Merc's just one of those all-around cars. It's one of those that just it sits there, it does everything good, and it's good, easy to drive. I mean, easy to drive, but fairly simple to drive. Arrow talking in Spanish. So yeah. Now we wait for Start of the formation lap here. Also, I'm interested on Spa coming to R Factor. That's coming.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that because I've been very impressed with R Factor with all of their tracks at this point. I do feel like they have really good scans of tracks, and so I'm very curious to see how theirs comes out in comparison to the one that's here in ACC, which is definitely the best version of Spa that exists at the moment.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to see how the one that is in R Factor comes out, because
So, at least from my knowledge, based on what Aries said today, I think all the tracks have been rescanned. In terms of like before this game was made, all the tracks that are in the game currently have been scanned after AC came out, and all the tracks exist in there. So they're different scans from AC of the tracks. So these are newer versions of the track.
Yeah, I mean, I would figure as much because A, the scans that were in AC are 10 years old at this point, and B, Assetto Corsa ran on a completely different engine, and honestly, the tracks in that game were awful. I mean, just plain and simple, Assetto Corsa had awful tracks. ACC definitely blows Assetto Corsa away in terms of the track quality. Just and not only in terms of the visuals on them, because obviously the visuals are way better, but also just in the way that they feel more authentic. In Assetto Corsa, there always felt like there was a scaling issue at certain tracks. Like I felt like at a track like Spa, for example, that the Camel Straight felt longer than it should, and the straight for like Blanchimont felt shorter than it should. Like there was always kind of like a weird scaling issue going on that just never made the tracks feel right. Catalunya was really bad. That was probably the worst track in that game, in my opinion, was Catalunya. Because I remember driving on that game, and I mean, just visually it was off. Like with the grass was really weird and was like 8 feet tall off on the side. You just had like, it looked like they hadn't landscaped in 10 years. But also the track just felt so narrow that it seemed like as if you were just driving on like a cart path the whole way. And
Catalunya is narrow.
I mean, Catalunya is definitely it's a narrow racetrack, but
it is basically a street circuit.
It really felt off in that game, especially compared to the one that's in this game. It feels better. I mean, obviously I've never been on the real track, so I can't compare it to what that's like, but based off of what you see on TV and how drivers can explain it, and then how you do it in the game, you just kind of have an idea of what feels right. And everyone has a different feeling of what feels right.
Speaking of authenticity, I probably just butchered that word. How authentic something is.
About salmon going through Mike.
Yep. Imola, they did a lot of like, they had the Senna Memorial. They have like flags on the side of the track. They actually have the statue of Senna. They even have like a mural of like the actual.
There's the kart track down there on the left-hand side.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's poorly rendered. I'm not sure what's going on there.
What they call it in Project Cars is like Glenwood or something weird.
Glenwood, yeah, something stupid.
But
it's a good circuit around there.
For the Imola that's coming out, they like went all out. They had the Senna Memorial. They have like the flags on the side of the track. They have the mural there that's painted on the side of the pit building. Oh, it's great.
Yeah, I think that's definitely it's impressive. The amount of detail that they put into the racetracks in this game, and I mean it's nice. Like with Spa, for example, here you can follow. There's the river. You can follow it all the way down, all the way across, down to where it goes underneath the bridge in the at the start of Sector 3, and you can keep on following it. And so that's always really cool.
I'm curious.
I like how they do it. Whenever it comes to just the amount of detail they put in this game, I do feel like they do a really good job with it.
Yeah.
I hope that R Factor does a good job with it as well. Because definitely, there's not enough good tracks out there whenever it comes to racing games that are modern.
Mm-hmm.
Too many. There's too many games that run on really old versions of tracks. Often say iRacing.
Codemasters.
Codemasters as well.
Codemasters.
Yeah,
Codemasters aren't.
I mean, they're not even launch cans still. But anyway, here we go. We're getting ready to go green. You can see all the banners off on the infield just absolutely waving in the wind. So it's definitely, I mean, it's only 2 kilometers an hour, but it definitely looks more dramatic. Lights are getting ready to go out. Still rolling at a pace here, right, as they capture the bottom, and we're going green up towards Eau Rouge. If they keep it clean, they're already looking 3 wide at the back. Everyone wisely backs out of that one, gets single file.
Andrew Shaw getting an amazing jump in the car ahead of him, taking the middle of the 2 in front of him and getting 2 positions already before Rouge, jumping up from 8th to 6th place now.
3 wide they're going as they're heading down the Camel Straight. The Andrew Shaw Lamborghini sticking its nose all the way into the grass, managed to get 2 positions there. Very, very good move. Oh, almost contacting a spin.
That's P8 to P4 for Andrew Shaw. That's an unbelievable start. Jeez. That's 3 wide on 2 occasions as well for him, so he's pushing early on. Maybe he was a little angry with the qualifying position, knowing he could have gone faster. He's going to get past those people early on.
I think Ramiro had issues there just because he was stuck behind all 3 of them, and he has the straight line speed of that V12 engine. He couldn't do anything with it, so he just had to sit back.
It's interesting to see Ryan Woodrow so far down the field here. Obviously, he didn't get to set a clean qualifying lap there. So it's interesting to see him this far down the field. And the Audi, oh, speaking of him, he gets tagged by the Nissan and collects Ramiro in it.
Keith. Oh, Ramiro.
Shows just how much qualifying matters there as Woodrow. This might be his throwaway race here. He's way down the grid now with possible damage after that spin. Ramiro Perez as well with possible damage. He got collected in that one as an innocent bystander.
So Keith takes a little trip off road.
Ooh, side by side they go. This is a tight area whenever the track is drying. This is also where water likes to form, so you gotta be careful down there. The track is still really hot, keep that in mind. Even with water on it, still running at 30 degrees Celsius at the moment. So it's definitely going to help out with keeping a dry line on the racetrack because that water is gonna have a hard time staying down. It's just gonna be ready to evaporate with these race cars driving over it.
A big snap up Blanchimont. He's around there into the wall.
You can see the tire mark there of him spinning the tires up, trying to get it to stop. Rejoining the racetrack nice and clean there. The 22 car, Shaw, is pitting here on lap 1. That is an interesting choice here, being that you do obviously have to still have the mandatory 4-tire pit stop later on in the race. So definitely an interesting call to come in now. I wonder, could he have possibly started on dry tires?
That's potentially what could have happened, but
I mean, it could explain why he had such a good start there. Was having those dry tires allow him to just accelerate better, but I mean, surely it's. I mean, the track. I mean, the track might not be wet enough to warrant wets yet, so it could have possibly been just an off strategy there, and that might be why we're seeing an early pit stop.
He still has to make another one, so I don't think that's going to help him in any means. Because that's already put him too far down.
Could be for the sake of enjoyment, because possibly that car, the dry tires were a bit too much of having to saw the wheel all over the place, because it's definitely wet out there on the racetrack today. Always seems to rain for us whenever we go to Spa.
I just wanted a rain race. I was like, yes, let's throw this in here. Just completely getting care of the track.
You're evil.
I don't know where we're going for round 4 for the GT4 series, but I'm gonna make it rain.
Why? He's doing some knowledge there, but why?
He's gonna make it rain, and you say why? It's because of the fact that he went to the bank and he cashed out all of his singles, so he's in a good mood. Ballman here still cruising in the 3rd position. We haven't had any changes for position up front, but also no one's really pulled out up front either. They're all still driving their way through a train. Everyone's running really competitive up front there. But there's a gap now from 3rd to 4th as Gavin Moore is chilling there in the 4th position. Oh, as he gets really, really loose there up on the curbing. That's showing why you need those wet tires, because that track is definitely not dry.
Shaw is actually just exited the pit lane. He's now going into gosh, I can't remember what corner that is. I lost where I was going with that. Looks like Mike is actually now coming to the back. On Lake Home, yeah. Lake Home.
Thank you.
Interesting strategy is going to be is will the rain actually stop at the end of the race? Because it's looking like their 30-minute mark, the rain is going to let up.
Was that a disconnect there from the 99 car?
Looks
Yes,
like
the 99 car of Chris Ayers is no longer on the racetrack.
It's gone from my screen as well.
yeah.
I was just oh wait, they have teleported. No, okay, never mind. That was just the map acting buggy. Yeah, they have left the field. I'll say, oh wait, they just teleported up to second place. But no, that was that was the map cutting off the third 9 for the Mike Trewicki car. Thirst is on the bumper of Ryan Woodrow at the moment. I do believe that Woodrow just got past Keith not too long ago. Oh, speaking of Keith, around he goes. Putting that right into that inside tire wall, managing to keep it straight though.
360 though, keeps it going.
I saw a really interesting video talking about Sebring and how that they and a handful of other IMSA tracks for the safety reasons have installed the tire walls prior to the metal gate walls. So like how here you have those tire walls that are all the way around right at the metal gate. Sebring, VIR, and a handful of other IMSA and North American tracks put like another tire wall like about 10 feet away from that. Basically act as a slowdown prior to it. So instead of putting all sorts of gravel traps everywhere, they put just that wall, and it does basically the same thing that a gravel trap would do. And so I thought that was a really cool solution to not having gravel traps all over the place. As Jake Foucher almost lost the car there, nice job keeping it under control.
Yeah, because that's actually pretty good cost saving measure. Because one, you don't have to dig up, put in gravel, and then anytime gravel gets thrown anywhere, it's showing you have to refill that. Whereas the tire barrier, oh, it gets hit off, okay, replace it, boom, we're done.
Yeah, you just stick the tires back up there.
Exactly.
Which, yeah, it's definitely a cost-saving measure, but also, I mean, it's just as functional, if not better, I'd say, for safety reasons, and obviously it's better for racing reasons because you don't need to have gravel traps everywhere. So it's definitely it's an interesting solution, and from what I understand, lots of drivers within the IMSA series really like that solution and would like to see more people pursue it. And like right here, for example, going up through Radion and Eau Rouge and everything there, cars are taking a lot of speed, and if they get out of control and hit that inside tire, like what we see pretty much every year.
Derek. Big save there with Derek.
Or as Derek McCord almost did there, hits that tire wall. You're still feeling the brute force of that metal railing on the other side because it's not moving, so you're just going to hit it and come to a dead stop. Whereas whenever you have the tire wall that can move with you, it acts just like a crumple zone in the cars. Derek with another save there. So it works basically as another crumple zone to just take off the G-forces of an incident. I'll tell you that it's definitely a good safety measure.
Concrete wall. Because every American track has a concrete wall, which I despise. I don't know why you guys are doing that.
Well, speaking of Sebring, actually, the one crashed the two GT4 Mercs at the Pilot Challenge race the other day. The two of them crashed, and then the one just hit it's like concrete stop blocks. I don't know what to call those.
Dislodged it with such force.
It threw it off.
That's one thing I hate about American tracks is that Ryan gets back on the outside. And the step from Drake there. It's opportunistic move, but yeah. Don't like American tracks.
Mike Trewicki's getting up to the bumper of John up front there. Just a couple car lengths in between our leaders.
We're slightly reformed.
A common reason, though, why you see those concrete blocks set up around racetracks, especially like Sebring and such, is that a lot of racetracks in the U.S. are multi-purpose in the sense that there's multiple different racing series, but also they can be street circuits. Mike looking to the outside here, down into the bus stop. Oh, gonna go for the cutback as John sends it straight through. Oh, and John spins it on the exit. Gonna keep that thing parked on the apex. He tries to get out of the way before Gavin gets there. Good recovery. Light contact for Mike Trewicki. That's gonna keep Salmon right there on his bumper now. One's gotta wonder how much damage possibly from that on the front end of that Porsche.
We'll see, going up the straightaway here.
Seconds there. Could be fourth in a minute as Gavin's around the bump now. John. Hoping to capitalize probably down until they come.
Now we're still remaining on just a couple car lengths in between our leaders, but now we have a new leader and a new second place car here.
Jake looking on the move.
Jason,
Ryan.
yeah.
We'll get the move done into Lake Home. Still side by side. He backs out thinking better of it, but Ryan's still leaving some of the room there. Ooh. Trying to cut back.
This is a nice charge back up by Ryan, though. We can't underestimate that because he was involved in that early spin from P9, and now he's only 10 seconds off the lead from Mike Trewicki now.
Yeah, I think he started like P6 or something. Like he started midfield. I don't know.
Yeah, probably. That's right, man.
Yeah, he got a valid lap, but he couldn't. He never just didn't have a good qualifying, so he only had 6th place.
It's unusual for Ryan, but yeah, maybe you just can hook that one lap up like everyone else could.
Oh, Stallman has gone as past Mike here. I think Mike ran wide coming up Poulan. Oh, is Stallman?
Stallman's also grass cutting as well.
Both having issues there. Not looking good for them if they want to walk away with the win here. They still have the pit stop to make.
Of course, John back there in 3rd place. He's going to be appreciative of every incident that these two up front make. Every little mistake is going to bring John right back into it, but also everyone who's John is pulling with him. There's Gavin Moore and Ryan Woodrow cars. Pulling those two along right behind him, that's going to bring them all right up into the pack. At the moment, anyone is in it. So with only about 20 seconds separating the field after we've done just over 10 minutes of racing. Of course, Andrew Shaw made the unfortunate early pit, which has him almost half of a lap down at the moment.
Oh, Derek going a little deep there into the final, to the bus stop. Oh, Keith gives him a little bonk. Keith gives him a bonk there. Tap 5. No, it's lap 5 that happened. Turn 20.
Derek's not going to be pleased with that one at all.
As Salmon really having issues. Don't know what happened to him, but he just fell off the pace there.
Yeah,
He's
he
fallen
just
up.
had a vote for a rouge. That's on the radio. Must have done.
Definitely went wide and lost a lot of speed going down the straightaway, so that's going to really cost him. But again, that's going to help bring everyone. Oh, as around he goes through Lake Hans.
Nice.
Both Lamborghinis almost spun it there. Salman got the unfortunate bit there. Almost looked like there's some oil with the synchronized spinning there. Don't rejoin, Salman. There's still cars coming. Ooh, be careful. There's still one more.
He's going to go for it.
Pulling out just in front of Derek McCord's Audi.
Nope. Goes back on the...
Okay. That's good.
I'll get pointed back straight. No contact there on the rejoin as Gavin Moore's around in the other Lamborghini.
Oh, out of no name. You can see he spun it, I guess, gone to the curb.
Oh, and around goes
the
the Aston Martin back in the background.
Keith has actually...
They claim victims.
It almost happened to Ramir as well. Ramir actually was able to like, get it straight there. But it seems that... where's Keith? Oh, Keith running wide.
Curbs are getting
Keith
really deadly now as the rain is still starting to pick up just a little bit more, almost, it seems like. But it definitely is not getting lighter as of yet. So the curbs are starting to get deadly with the amount of water it's sitting on them.
Ramiro gets his way past. Keith, it seems like Yeah, I think just Keith just let him through there.
Anytime I've seen a spin for Keith, he hasn't actually gone full around. He's like hit the wall with his nose and then just pointed it back straight.
Ladino Nissan is now around the back of the Gavin Moore Lamborghini. So, possibly an overtake here into the top 5 from the Nissan. Thing's got a lot of straight line speed. It can really pull down here. Wouldn't be surprised to see possibly a late braking maneuver. Not quite close enough.
Mike's still alive up front for the time being. Still got about 5.5 second gap to the cars behind.
Major improvement this week around here for Paolo Ladino, in comparison to what they had last week with a couple of contact incidents and being well down the field, just as they were early on in their career of ACC. But now, just 1 week later, they've shown a lot of improvement on the racetrack, being able to keep up with the midfield. Hopefully that continues for them and show them showing up the field, and within a few weeks' time. Woodrow now up to P3 here. He has fallen off from the leader though through the incidents that were happening in front of him, so he's now 12 seconds off the lead. But up to P3, a little bit of recovery drive here after the earlier spin.
It's almost a damage limitation race for everyone. Like, just keeping it a straight line. That's all I got to do. Ooh, Gavin gets a little loose there off the curb.
You gotta be really careful taking these bright yellow and red curbs, man. They're not friendly in the dry, and they're very not friendly here in the wet, especially with that little bit of AstroTurf just on their outside. You get it just wrong, and the wheel can just get spinning and hook you right around. So obviously it's a daring contest of who's willing to run the least amount of traction control right now, because the more you run, the more limited you are on the straightaways. So it's all about daring. Who's gonna run the least, and who's gonna get that power down first. And as of right now, everyone seems to be doing a pretty good job with it. But you get a little bit too greedy, and you might find yourself in a wall.
It looks like Gavin having a little bit of a tough time keeping that car straight. Not sure what it is, but he's really doing a lot of wheel work to actually keep that car in a straight line. Watching him going through the corners, really working the wheel back and forth.
The Lamborghini struggles to go in a straight line in the dry. I couldn't imagine it in the wet here at Spa. Because we're going to go ahead and we'll hop on board. Yeah, look at the wheel work here as he got really loose here through Blanchimont all the way off the racetrack. Possibly a little bit of a puddle forming down there.
I think it's a little bit more than a puddle for the Lamborghini, but it's possible.
But definitely lots of wheel work. Could be running on an extremely dry setup there as well on that car, which could be leading to some of his issues. Salmon's not been able to rework his way up the field after his spin there earlier. He still remains behind the Derek McCord Audi. Showing that rain is the great equalizer there. Front still remains Mike Trewicki in that 999 Porsche, cruising his way along.
Slowly closing between him and John. It looks like the gap's now gone out of 4 seconds.
Sure, that Bentley feels right at home now. Just chilling here in the second position, trying to run down a Porsche.
Ladino goes off it. They come, takes the access road, rejoins. Okay. Safely.
Not rejoin, I was looking for, but
a little way they're just going to blow it straight back on.
And they made it work somehow.
Yeah, man. Well, the farm region, I was just a little worried about what they were about to do.
Fair play, they managed to take the access road, rejoin, and really didn't lose much time through it. So all fair play to them.
Potentially could have gotten a track cut, but I don't know how ACC was with them.
ACC is very bad whenever it comes to track cuts. You could probably just flat it out through there. If you just rejoin right where the access road is, you'd probably be able to just flat out through there. Wouldn't penalize.
maybe.
This game is weird, and there's a couple of cases like that where you can literally get you can just completely cut the. I mean, for example, with Monza on the chicane at turn 1.
Ooh.
Oh,
Gavin around.
that was a hard lick there from the front of the car, and the car's still spinning on the outside here as more traffic is coming. Lock it down, Gavin. Wait until everyone gets by. Ooh, almost pulling out his other Lamborghini teammate there.
His pit lane is open, so he might actually dive it in, being that he's worn those tires out.
In comes Ryan Woodrow as well to his pit lane.
Interesting early stop. He should have seen one of the last pit.
Indeed. Yeah, he's not feeling this
In comes Jake Foucher as well on his Bentley. Let's see if Ladino takes a send here onto the pit lane.
And they do.
They will as well.
Hero following them in as well. The track is actually greasy.
Oh, so it has.
And
It has
Ramiro
to-
Perez,
He
and
tried,
Keith
but-
Hurst, and Derek McCord,
Like
and
everyone.
Salman Saad, and Gavin Moore. Every single car that could pit this time around. That's going to leave John and Mike the ones out to dry at the moment. Lots of action down here on the pit lane. Let's going to be curious as to who gets out with the best stop here.
Can't forget
Could be
about
about
the
the indeed. It could be about the track is, as it's gone from wet to damp to greasy, and the tire temperatures are slowly coming up and maybe going above what people's expectations would be. So get rid of those tires now. They start to fall away.
I forgot where greasy fits into the mix of rain.
Interesting looking here as
Dry
Gavin
greasy,
Moore
but-
appears to have missed his pit stall.
That's not gonna.
There are 3 cars that are all in one pit stall from the looks of it, because they're all sitting together. Pit stall there.
The family's in bed. Look at this.
Jake's the first one to actually get out of pit lane, even though he was like the last person in.
Yeah,
not the
that's
last.
Well, he was probably the only
one.
one without damage. As
Ladino.
Woodrow going. No, out comes Ladino as well. Another car that probably had minimal damage.
And
Here comes
Ryan.
Woodrow rolling. So Woodrow is going to lose 2 spots there through the transition of the pit lane.
Shaw enters the pit lane.
That
Paul's
goes
going to go for
Romero.
their second pit stop. John
Just ahead of
Weatherick
Derek.
here.
Derek's really
Coming
close
up,
to
the
Romero,
gap's
yeah.
just 1.5 seconds now at the front between Trey Wicke and Weatherick. Hope I'm pronouncing that right, John.
We'll check.
It's like everyone's exiting the pit lane. Keith actually the one to come off worse, as he's all the way at the back of the queue now.
The leaders come through. Is it Blanchemont this one? Oh,
That's
is it Blanchemont?
yeah. I always
In
mix
the
up the
pit
two.
lane is Jake Foucher
Blanchemont
now.
and Pilon.
Ladino and Woodrow coming out as well here.
It's not that they're similar names either. It's just like I don't know what the difference is. That John actually stays out.
Trey Wicke comes in and John decides to stay out. So another split strategy here between the 2 up front.
See where that puts everyone in comparison.
I mean, with the
As-
transitional phase that the track is going through, I think it makes sense to try to stay out at this moment, and just try to see where it's going to be to optimize your setup for the final 20-minute stint of this race.
Like everyone's
gonna be
actually gone into
interesting,
dry tires. Ladino actually
It's gonna be
only on the
interesting
wet.
where John's about to come out ahead or in the traffic. Goes through Rouge. There's Salmon coming out of pits as well there. So
Is it reporting drivers on the dry tires at the moment?
He's reporting everyone's on the dry tires besides it says who am I on here?
Mike.
No.
do we-
John and Ladino. Ladino's on the wet tires still.
Did Mike start on? Oh wait, no, he's in the pits now. Obviously.
Mike's in the pits.
Do
Ladino's
remember though
in-
that it did the same thing during the 4 hours of Spa? It was reporting cars on the dry tires while they were on the wet. So we obviously don't have a perfect representation of it, but good
Mike on the
estimate
dry.
there.
Well,
And very, very interesting, as John has actually found himself in the middle of this field that's exiting pit lane. So that's an awkward situation of either he's going to be getting passed by faster cars or passing slower cars.
Your telemetry is great. Everyone's on dries apart from John and Ladino. Going for the data on each one.
Including Mike Trewicki here, he swapped onto dries.
Did indeed.
Interesting.
the track is drying, but it doesn't.
Yeah, everyone on dries.
It's not going to get clear and stop raining.
It's going to be interesting to see what that Nissan GTR can do, or not do, depending whether they've made the right choice or not.
Here comes Woodrow now trying to get that spot back. The low downforce Audi really trying to, got to really make a recovery drive there after losing 2 spots in the pit lane.
Mike with a massive gap. I don't even know how far that is away.
Wow.
Well, Mike managing to make his pit stop right whenever he did helped him out a lot, though, because it prevented him from getting stuck into this battle here that John's having to go through with defending from the Lamborghini behind. I'm not sure that it's hurt John too much in terms of lap time, but definitely hurt him somewhat, and I'm sure that he's going to see him dive in this. No, he does not.
Nope.
John going one more lap here, so now he is going to have to battle with this Lamborghini.
Looking fast. That's an error from John. That's a big one. Should have pitted then. You can see the pace difference between the 2 tires is clear now.
Yeah, it's definitely a dry tire situation, which makes you question even more as to why Andrew Shaw made that initial pit stop. If they did start on the dries, it could have honestly been a risky gamble that paid off for him in the end, because the dry tires seemed to be quick there on that first lap, and it could have possibly made it where they were one of the faster cars during the whole race. I mean, it's definitely showing right now that the dry tires are quicker if indeed the telemetry is reading correctly. Mike Trewicki here has got himself, like you said, a huge gap to Jake Foucher behind him. I mean, 25 seconds. That is massive, and I really don't know how he managed to pull that out. At the start of the pit cycles, it was just seconds, and I don't think that Jake had damage, so definitely being able to pull out that type of gap is huge for Mike there. That's going to make it really interesting to see how John's pit stop goes. Whenever he decides to dive in, is he going to have that same large gap, or is he going to come in and be right within the thick of the battle for third place or come second?
We'll see. It's not sure what his strategy is. It's an interesting one, to say the least. It looks like the 98 and Jake and Woodrow are battling here into the bus stop. Looks like Ryan has gotten the overtake done, and he's now moved up to P3. So he's looking to chase down Mike now in the last 22 minutes of this race. He's got a massive gap to make up to do that.
Yeah, 2:28 from Ryan as well, so time's quicker in qualifying, so obviously he is much drier. So now has slipped into that greasy stage, and it was a lot quicker than what John did. It was 5 seconds quicker than the leader by Ryan, so might have to worry about John coming out behind Ryan, maybe. He'll have to pit this time, surely. Yes, he does.
Yep, there he goes.
If he didn't.
Wise decision to make that pit stop here, because it definitely, the pace difference does exist. Now the question is he going to make that swap over to the dries? I mean, if he elected to stay out for that long, maybe he doesn't realize that everyone swapped to dries. Does he make that swap?
Soon found out. We didn't have much of a choice to stay out, otherwise we would have got a penalty for missing that pit window. But I'm concerned that he'll come out behind Ryan.
Because Ryan does have the fastest lap there, the 28.1.
Ryan has now worked his way up into third position with a possible second as the Lamborghinis are going side by side down into Les Combs.
Salma backs out of the move there, but it's definitely falling close to Gavin.
2 Lamborghinis, of course, both spun within just seconds of each other. Earlier on, these cars were really struggling on those wet tires, but they seem to be coming back alive here on the dries, and there's definitely a defined dry line on the racetrack that you can see in certain sections. There's definitely a dry line forming, so the dry tires definitely seem. Oh, that was a big moment almost right there for both of those Lamborghinis. They both went off the racetrack. John is rolling, so he's going to have the long walk down the national pit straight there. Try to see if he could get out in front of Mike Trewicki here. He might be able to do it.
I think Mike will actually come out in front of him.
Oh, Mike will, for sure.
Because he's got to get, if you look at the track map, he's got to get roughly to the end, just the beginning of El Rouge.
Yeah, Mike's getting ready to come by right now. And at the pace that John seems to be rolling, he should come out kind of in that gap in between him and Ryan Woodrow. Mike Trewicki back to the lead of this race. So now the battle becomes between Woodrow and Wezorick. Wezorick?
Wezorick. That's usually what I go with.
He is rolling off the racetrack, or rolling out of the pit lane here, up to Eau Rouge and Radion.
He's got to build tyre temperature there, and that's going to lend into Ryan's favour for at least a lap and a half.
John swap his way onto the dry tires.
I did not check that.
I will have it checked. He did.
Okay.
He is also in the dry tires.
As Ryan keeps putting in faster laps, his last lap was a 27.1, so the track is definitely getting faster.
He likes his dry conditions, and it seems wet, not really favourable to him. I guess the drier it gets, the faster Ryan's going to get as well.
Ryan made a post earlier on his Twitter of showing off all the gear that he's recently got through the Logitech G series and stuff like that. Really trying to show off his accolades, and he wants to keep on adding more to it, of course. But it does seem like as if drivers have found a weakness in his ability, and that is the rain.
I mean, he's a fast guy, nonetheless.
Oh yeah, but definitely could be where you got a shot at challenging against him is whenever it rains.
Make it rain.
Lamborghinis are still battling here. The headlights appear to be slightly flashing on the Gavin Moore car. Oh, and Salmon hard into the wall there. That was a nasty looking lick. Car's still rolling, of course, but definitely could be some linkage damage inside that car. Doric is still rolling along. Got himself an apparent 4-second gap back to Woodrow. So he came out just in that little perfect pocket, but Mike, who appeared to have had just a perfect pit stop, 16 seconds, almost 17 up the road, just cruising away with this one at this stage.
And I think the thing with what do you call it? The thing with wet races is that not many people do them. Is the thing. There's in open lobbies and in official series, it's usually just dry races.
It's a safer option.
Exactly. But you gotta throw the drivers a curveball once in a while there.
It is why I appreciate having the random weather settings. But it is also nice to be able to do a couple of manual weather settings every once in a while too. Just be able to mix it up just a little bit more and just try to make it interesting. It's also why you gotta throw nighttime and daytime in the mix as well. As the Dino, it appears to not have their headlights on in that Nissan. I play the game realizing that it's drying up and shutting off the auto lights on a couple of vehicles.
And they're still on the wet tires, and you can see the pace difference there.
Ramiro coming cruising on by here for the P5 position now.
Maybe I throw the ultimate curveball. Give us a night race, downpour rain,
slicks only.
Yeah, do the smooth. 2018 or was it 2019 where they just downpour rain and they just stop?
That's every year.
That's fair. Wasn't this year dry?
In WEC 19 it snowed, so never.
Spa's like the Nürburgring in a sense. Just brings random weather.
Yeah, weather in it. It's the trouble when you make a racetrack on a hill.
Nürburgring's got a lot of hills, so I mean.
Yeah. It was the same with Red Bull Ring, Austria, on the hill.
That's fair.
Rains only.
But
it's more of a
Coda,
valley.
they build their own hill.
Is there anywhere that you can build that isn't on a hill whenever it comes to Central Europe like this?
Wait, I mean, true, but heat. You can have the Valencia street circuit.
That's a road.
Well, that also isn't in Central Europe. That's in Spain. Or was that France? It was like the France-Spain border over there. So I wouldn't necessarily call that.
It's Keith saves it. Keith almost dies at No Name. Is they're during the Spa 24-hour stream this year? They were calling No Name something weird like Commentator's Corner or they're calling it something stupid. I'm like,
just give it their own name.
Yeah, they're giving it their own because there's supposedly some reason behind it that it was called so and so corner. I'm like, no, it's never been. At least from everyone that I know has never had that corner have a name. It's literally called No Name.
The only time I've heard it on an official broadcast, it might have been an SRO or something. It's called Jim Clark or Inter Clark. That's the only time I've heard it been given a name, but I can't find any reference to anyone officially named Clark.
No, exactly. It's just like, oh yeah, that corner, that's known as no name. It's there. Turn 12 or whatever it is. It's turn 12.
It's turn 11. I always thought that it was a part of the Bruxelles complex. Like I thought that turn 10 and 11 were just called Bruxelles, just like 13 and 14 is campus, and 7, 8, 9 is like I always thought that it was just and then 17, 18 is Blanchiment. Like I always thought that it was just a complex of corners with 10 and 11 called Bruxelles.
Yeah.
So I mean, it is possible. It could be what it is, but
yeah. Well, no, I've never had any confirmation of that either.
Yeah, no, it's just
no one's confirmed that.
It looks like Ryan there closing up to John. Gap's now down to 2.8 seconds.
Samuel in second with Gavin Moore as well. There's two Lamborghinis together once again.
He's faster than Gavin. The problem is he keeps having these spins.
Derek McCord currently chilling in a good 7th position right now.
Derek's had a very quiet race for the most part. He's just like, yeah, just go by me. Oh, I'll pass you here. All right. Like he hasn't really been
from Keith, I think that was.
I think so, yeah.
Pretty chill for him.
Kind of see the dry line is forming. It's a weird dry line to say the least.
I think it's more credit
to it's
temperature.
Keith is around just before No Name. Not sure what he did, but he won it before No Name. Must have did it coming out of Brussels.
He must have caught that big green strip there, and it did not like it very much. As Salmon's right up on the bumper of Gavin here.
Those AstroTurf strips, at least in AC, were deadly at Imola. You touch them, you're around. There's no stopping you.
They're deadly in just about anything, especially once the rain is coming down. They just soak it up. As again, Salmon's hitting them right there. As you pointed out, up towards the front, the gap's down to 2 seconds for second position there between John and Ryan.
Keith around again at
Keith
campus.
is facing backwards. He elects to retire the car.
I don't know if he actually finished, if he'll get a valid lap or not. Not valid, what do you call that? Classification is a thing. I don't know if he'll be classified. Because he finished, he might have just missed out the 75% mark.
Yeah, what would be 75% of 50? That would be right about here, like 12 or 13 minutes, something along that line.
Pull out my handy dandy calculator.
Handy dandy.
37.5, so
mess.
12.5. So he might have just by a minute missed out because he retired just before 12:14.
Give it to him.
So I will see what the end up final result says. That's what I go based off. I don't care what time happens. It's whatever that file spits out. Tells me.
Yeah. Well, to be fair though, you do have to consider the fact that it's not just a 50-minute race. It's 50 minutes plus whatever the final lap is. So it could come down to being 51 minutes in total, due to the leader having to finish their final half of their lap. So I do believe that he's just short of that classification mark, and that's really going to hurt him because I do believe he's already used his drop. Well, not necessarily used it, but he's already had a drop round. Where he was down the grid and had a similar result in the previous race, so definitely going to hurt him in terms of the point standings. Got a fight here with Derek McCord on the bumper of the Ladino Nissan now. Cars are going to race each other, one on the wet and one on the dry tires, so this is definitely be a difference of pace here. It's just going to be how can Derek McCord get the move done, because there's definitely going to be more stability in those wet tires, but there's going to be more speed in those dry. But if Ladino can just remain on the dry line for the most part, they go wide there. Derek getting forced all the way out, almost into the sand trap out there. Dino could take away this dry line though, and if they could continue to just block that off, it would prevent Derek from really having a line to go get by.
So see, if I wonder if the wet tires are really that much more stable is the thing.
It could be overheating at this stage as well. Yeah, they could. I don't, you know, obviously we don't have tire pressure readings up here, but they could be blowing way up as Derek McCord almost runs into the back of the Nissan there. Just behind, you got Bellman once again right up to the bumper of Gavin Moore. 4 cars all within a camera shot here.
Kind of working together for the most part. Not really intentionally working together, but they're there.
Well, we could see a swap here as Ladino goes off and comes back on. Ooh, almost taking out the Derek McCord Audi. The Lamborghinis are going to come slide on by now.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
This is going to be good for Gavin Moore, who can put a car in between himself and Salmon before Eau Rouge.
Ladino
Hey, there's a follow. Thank you for the follow.
It's gradient on there.
I need to figure out the audio level on that because it's probably really loud.
Salmon goes around the outside, off track, but you know, since both of them are kind of off track there.
And another follow there. Thank you very much.
Welcome, all new followers.
I hope it's not that loud. It sounds really loud. I bet you it's really loud, but
I don't see the alert box.
Figure it out.
Maybe I'm behind.
The alert box it's in the bottom left of the screen.
Oh, I see it there. I was looking for an image. That's why.
Yeah. I forgot that it just pops up with just text, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Let me kind of make it a little bit. I'll work on it a bit more. Ladino's still back there going all over the racetrack. Now we got 3 cars racing here. Just 8 minutes remaining here. Do we think that Woodrow can run down that final second and a half he's got on John? I mean, he's been really reeling him in these last couple laps. So at the current rate, I think he's going to get there, and we're going to have a battle for the final few minutes.
We have an Audi leading the 2 fake Audis currently at the moment.
The V10 power plants in these 3 cars all trying to get everything they can in those mid-engines on this tricky condition here. Dry tires on a raining racetrack, but definitely it is just dry enough to not need it in an apparent 10 minutes where we might be completely out of rain by the end. So definitely dry tires were the right move by everyone, so that was a wise decision to go and make that swap for everyone. Tallman looking up around the outside as Gavin goes defensive here into the bus stop.
Like I don't understand why is the Lamborghini so similar to the Audis? Like that they use the same wheel, the interior in terms of like the.
Well, they're both essentially the same car. They're built on the same chassis, same engine, same overall drive line. As here goes Gavin Moore looking on the inside of Derek McCord.
Derek will leave him the space there.
And down towards Eau Rouge and Radion. Going ahead, gets it there. Gavin Moore up in front of Derek. Derek goes really wide, managing to keep it out of the tire wall though. That's going to force Salmon up off the top.
Second time's a charm.
These 2 Lamborghinis still never separated.
This gap has closed again. They're kind of
down to just half a second now up the front as once again Derek McCord goes off through Les Combs. Up here for second place, Ryan Woodrow now just car lengths behind John Mazurek in the second position Bentley. But just 6.5 minutes remain here. Could have a really good battle for the second position here.
We'll have
Mike Trewicki's managed to pull out another second here during this final stint. He's just cruising away with this one up in that Porsche.
It keeps increasing that gap there, so no doubt he's the fastest. Maybe not the fastest man on track, but the one who's been able to keep the gap the whole time. Where am I? Give me my on track views here. There we go.
mean, you can't get much closer and much sketchier than this right now. These cars are giving it their absolute all, as you can see there, as they go and run completely wide off of the curbing there at Radion. And these cars are giving it their all on these dry tires, but this track is still wet. I mean, we can't forget it is still raining. So although it appears like as if there's a good dry line, it's still wet once you're off the line. On those curbs on the AstroTurf and in the second groove, it is still very, very wet. Cars are not at full stability by any means.
Mirror possibly looped it there at the, I'm forgetting turn one's name.
The source?
He must have looped it there. Didn't really lose him much time, but definitely lost any chances of trying to catch up to Jake.
Every little bit of the racetrack there, Ryan Woodrow just trying to get anything he can to try to make a run at this Bentley. Ooh, there's a little bit of a bobble there from the Bentley in front. That's going to help bring him right up to the bumper here, Ryan Woodrow. He's filling up the mirror of that Bentley. The Bentley's got to be feeling the pressure.
Now entering the final 2 laps of the race. Definitely see.
I think here, John. Of course, I don't know why I still cannot get the mirrors to render whenever I'm riding on board with someone. But you know that Audi's got to be filling it up like crazy. I mean, at what point? I mean, Ryan could be flashing his headlights, trying to do everything he can to distract John, trying to go get that second position here. Obviously, Woodrow making this recovery drive after the earlier spin and the bad qualifying.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what the setting is that you need to fix that for it. Try and look to see what I have on.
3.5 minutes remain. As you said, probably 2 more laps to go here.
John was getting pushed down the front stretch by Ryan there. Ryan taking the outside line, squeezing him to the inside.
I'm not sure who's more deserving of driver of the day, if it's Mike Trewicki or Ryan Woodrow. Both of them with fantastic drives here today. Again, using up every little bit of the racetrack there. Game gives you those 3 cut track warnings. You may as well use them up.
I was about to say, it's like you have them. Why not use them? Looks like Ryan gets a bad exit there, so he falls off the back of John, but closest back up to him into Brussels.
Further down the field, Gavin Moore and Salman Sauter still fighting for this thing. Salman's a little bit quicker, but just cannot make the position go by at all. They're running very similar lap times between these two, though.
John putting a big defense and a poo on.
Ooh, mounting that curve just a little bit. Oh, it's going to get him real loose up on the exit. Nice catch there, but that's going to bring Ryan with a run. He didn't get it done down into campus here.
John has done a lot of spa recently. The 2 weeks ago, it was 2 or 3 weeks ago, he did the 2.4 hours of spa in the Callaway Corvette race room. In a P9, I want to say, after coming back from
looking around the outsides, Ryan Woodrow. This is a dangerous move to make, but if he can get it to stick, it'd be impressive. Using up every little bit of the racetrack there. He even went through the gravel for just a second. Great job to keep hold of the car by both drivers there. Fantastic racing.
Looks like
can't ask for much more as Mike's taking the white flag here. 1 lap of racing remains here at Spa.
But yeah, John had to start from the back essentially because of a massive lap 1 crash at the top of the hill. Oh, definitely wants to get redemption.
He did well to work his way through that half-hour race he had. And he's put on a cracking defense here. Last few laps.
When he misses the apex at turn 1, that's going to let Ryan right through. Maybe he's going to be looking for the slipstream going down towards Lake Holmes here. The big Bentley needs every little bit of help it can get down the straightaways, of course. But I'm not sure if it'll be enough. I mean, Woodrow's really quick and he's been really good on the defense. Here he comes looking for all the speed.
Over the back of him. to the outside. He's got the slipstream early on. He moves back against the duck.
Keep it clean.
There.
Audi's got the legs on it, actually. Gets to the outside. Does
Door to
John
door
as
as
he
they come down into the comms.
goes around the outside?
Still got it. John gonna try to make it stick.
Oh, there's a big contact.
A little bit of door check. Fantastic racing here between these two.
Around the outside goes John.
Oh,
No, he
all
doesn't.
the way to the gravel trap.
Right. That fantastic racing between these two. A little bit of contact, but nothing malicious there at all.
Well, lots and lots of respect between these two drivers. They've been racing for a very long time. They know every little move that each other like to make, and that was fantastic battle in there. Nice defense by Woodrow and fantastic attack by John.
John runs wide through no name there, so that's going to lose him time.
That might be settled. I think Ryan's got this one done.
Unless Ryan makes mistakes somewhere.
May do. There's still kilometers to go.
Check back up with the battle back with the Lamborghinis.
Well, I'm seeing Salmon still
Yep.
in the gearbox of that other Lamborghini in front of him for the last 20-30 minutes.
Comes Mike Trewicki one last time through Blanchimont, heading down towards the bus stop chicane. Going to take the final two corners here. Wrapping up a massive win. Had really good pit strategy there. Hit it at just the right time. Managed to come out with a massive gap, about 16 seconds over second position, and overall wins it by 21 here. Massive win there by Mike Trewicki. Really good run. Once again, here comes Ryan Woodrow with a massive recovery save after a spin early on lap 2, which dropped him all the way to the tail end of the field. He had damage to repair as well. Managed to bring his way up all the way to P2 after even a rough qualifying. Now we got back here the battle of the Lamborghinis, Gavin Moore and Salman Saad. Gotta wonder if Salman's going to try to make any sort of descend on him here down through Blanchimont into the bus stop.
I think he's too far back, at least at the current moment.
Definitely too far back as of right now, but any little mistake that Gavin makes here, and Salman using up every bit of the racetrack trying to get a lot of run here. Wants that toe all the way down in the straightaway. "50 minutes of racing. It's going to come down to this right here between these two. He's there. He can make a lunge. He's close enough. Going to go for it around the outside.
Cross the line for P4 with Ramiro Perez crossing the line for P5.
Going for the crossover. Fantastic job by Gavin Moore, though, managing to lock up the insides.
Gavin P6, Salman 7.
He mounted the curb down that final.
And Derek McCord taking it slowly here, going down Blanchimont.
I think he actually spun it there.
I was about to say, it looks like an apparent spin here. Car's really struggling to keep it straight.
He doesn't cut the corner. He's like, I'm making sure I'm staying on track. Comes across the line for P8.
Paolo Adino, who took the safe route but also risky route at the same time by staying on those wet tires, ultimately did not pay off as they dropped their way from 5th down to 9th after the pit cycle.
They are new to ACC, so I think this is actually their first rain race, to be honest.
So definitely nothing to frown about, though. They didn't make any mistakes, no spins, just a pit road error in terms of wrong strategy. And Mike Trewicki here with the Puppy Dog Pals race car, managing to take home that big win.
Shaw coming through the final corner this year. Not sure what the early pit stop was about, but he ends up P10. ACC decided to cut and finish early there. Line for P10. Nope.
Green light, go, go, go.
Where's my server settings?
And that's going to do it here from Spa for the GT3 Legacy Series at round 3. Fantastic racing there by everyone. The rain gave just enough spice to keep things interesting and keep everyone on their toes. Definitely good, clean racing by everyone, and it was very, very impressive to see how they performed there. Fantastic win to Mike Trewicki, and yeah, it was pretty amazing. I gotta say that was a really fun race to watch, and hopefully everyone that tuned in on Twitch enjoyed and was able to hang out and and enjoy themselves. Thank you everyone for watching. Of course, thank you to all of our supporters here on Patreon and Twitch. Any amount of support is always appreciated. It helps us keep these servers running and make this fantastic racing be able to be presented to you. So if it is something that you're interested in supporting and making better, then obviously you can support us on Patreon or here on Twitch. And definitely is always appreciated.
Cool. Catch you next Saturday here with the GT4 Championship at, I want to say it's Nürburgring, if I'm correct.
No.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Yes,
No rain.
we will be back Saturday, as Ethan did just mention. Yeah, for round 3 of the GT4 Championship from Nürburgring. That's going to be it's a 2-race segment, a 30-minute race and a 40-minute race. So that's going to be a really, really fun race to watch. We'll be back. It'll be 1600 UTC or 4 p.m. UTC. So be sure to be there and watch us whenever that comes around. And we will be back next Tuesday as well for round 4 of the GT3 Legacy Series, which will be at Kyalami. So that's going to be a very fun round to see as well. Kyalami, a track that was, of course, a DLC to this game, but was definitely a very, very fun track and lots of fun to watch. It always makes for really good racing. So definitely be sure to show up and check that one out. So once again, thank you to everyone who hung out on Twitch. See you at the next one.